Shalom, shalom. I want to say all praises be to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the sincere brethren. I came out there across the four winds, four corners of the globe, pushing the truth, the good news of Yahweh Shai, proclaiming salvation to the elect of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and proclaiming the downfall of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and his wicked empire. So the title of this video is going to be, we all have thorns in the flesh that we have to overcome, that we must overcome. You understand? And this is inspired by the Apostle Paul, saying, you understand? We all have hindrances, whether it be in the spirit, whether it be in the flesh, whether it be in both, whether it be one or multiple, that we have to overcome and that we have to deal with. You understand? So this is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 5. Of such an one will I glory, talking about Yahweh Shai, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. Can't. So that's the mindset you're supposed to have, the mindset of what? Humility. No matter how many precepts you know, no matter how long, we can't self-glorify ourselves, man. We have to glory what? In Yahweh Shai. That's why we start off every lesson by saying what? All praises be to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because the Lord could take you out after 20 years, man. You know what I mean? Just because you have 20 years in, that don't mean the Lord can't take you, man. 15, 10 years in, so on and so forth. Because there's many men like that, been in the truth 15, 20 years and got corrupted, man. The Lord took them out of the way. Because what? They started to what? Glorifying themselves, man. Self-glorification. That's the pattern, man. Instead of glorifying in Yahweh Shai, they think of themselves more than they are. Instead of giving the credence and the praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Let me see if I can get that precept real quick in the Apocrypha, where it tells you to seek not preeminence, man. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 7, verse 4. Seek not of the Lord preeminence. Now let's look up that word preeminence. This is from the online dictionary, Oxford. The fact of surpassing all others, superiority. So you can't have that superiority mindset, that I'm above everybody else mindset. You know what I mean? You belong to having what? A brotherly mindset, a humble and meek mindset. What did Yahweh Shai do? Yahweh Shai washed the feet of the disciples. You understand? That's not a superiority complex among the brotherhood. Nah. He had what? Actually a servant mindset, man. You know what I mean? We have to be servants unto the brotherhood, man. You understand? Not some type. Yeah, there's order in the brotherhood same way. But at the end of the day, the king is the greatest servant. He's the what? The servant of the people, man. Even these so-called politicians today, what do they call themselves? Even though they're a bunch of liars and corrupt, they call themselves what? Servants of the people. You know what I mean? So really, we servants amongst each other, man. To build each other up, look out for each other, so on and so forth. Because that's what Yahweh Shai required of us, man. He required of us to what? Love each other. That's what Yahweh Shai said, that they might know my disciples by the love that they have for one another. Not the preeminence, not the self-glorification, not the self-exaltation, no. By the love for they have one for another, man. That's why James says what it says. James chapter 2, verse 5. Hearken, my beloved brethren. Hearken means to listen. Hear this. Hearken. Hearken, my beloved brethren. Have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, kind of poor of this world. Those who are lowly, man. You know what I mean? Those brothers, those men who work in regular jobs, man, so on and so forth, who look quote unquote looked down upon in society. Ain't nothing wrong with having a high paying job, but hey, the Lord more than likely are not gonna have you in a position where you just get your daily bread, so on and so forth. And even if you have a high paying job, so on and so forth, it's your job, it's your duty to look out for brothers, man, who don't have the financial funding that you have. Like Joseph of Arimathea. You understand? James chapter 2 verse 5. Hearken, my beloved brethren, had not the Most High chosen the poor of this world rich in faith? And so the main thing is what? Being rich in faith. The faith in what? Yahweh Shai. The faith in the gospel. The faith in the good news. The faith in the kingdom. The eternal kingdom of Israel are to come. You understand? Hearken, my beloved brethren, had not the Most High chosen the poor of this world rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him. So what? We're gonna be heirs to the kingdom of Yahweh Shai. Heirs to the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. You understand? Back in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 7, verse 6, sorry. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth, but no, I will forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me. Can't see how Paul was on a low, humble tip, man. And that's the spirit you're supposed to be in, a low, humble tip, man. Like, damn, you don't even want brothers to exalt him, man. Like, nah, bro, I'm a brother just like you. You know what I mean? Lest any man should big him up. You know what I mean? As you know, of course there were men, and the scriptures tell you that. They were saying what? Some of, I am of Apollos. So I can find, alright, quick. So this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 4. So that was going on back in the day, man. Men putting up certain apostles like basically the Yahweh Shai, man. And you're not to do that, man. Yahweh Shai is Yahweh Shai, man. And you have it to this day, man. Men putting up their leaders as like likened unto Yahweh Shai, man. Like there's a savior. Nah, man. Because even our apostles tell us, hey, we can't save you, man. You know what I mean? Work out thine own salvation, and ultimately Yahweh Shai has to save you. You have to be written in what? The book of life. You understand? 1 Corinthians chapter 4, Salakia. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 4. For while one said, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are ye not carnal? Constantly, they were basically saying, I reckon with Paul, man. You know what I mean? Paul is basically my leader, man. Kind of down there like Paul is Yahweh Shai. And I am of Apollos, are ye not carnal? Or some were saying I'm with Apollos, man. Who then is Paul? Who is Apollos? But ministers by whom ye believe. So Paul and Apollos are ministers or servants of Yahweh Shai. Even as the Lord gave to every man, I have planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase. So then again, Paul always pushing what? That humility. You know what I mean? Pushing to be what? Humble. Me, I ain't doing nothing, man. This is the Most High's program. You know what I mean? And that's why the Lord what? Give us thorns in the flesh to humble us, because it's going to get to that. 2 Corinthians chapter 12. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. Verse 6. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool. So even in the natural spirit of man, you want to big up yourself, man. So even Paul had that feelings, that contention, man. Even though he wanted to glory, you know what I mean? Because Paul knew the works he did. He was great in the ministry. Really great in the ministry. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool. Can't say, no, not a fool. Because what? All men have fallen short, man. All men have sinned, and the wages of sin is death. All men have been found unworthy without the grace and mercy and the blood of Yahweh Shai. I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me, unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations. So Paul was deep in the scriptures, man. I think even Peter said, hey, some of the sayings of Paul is what hard to understand. And even to this day, Paul's the epistles of Paul, the different books of Paul, is of great contention, you know what I mean, when you're dealing with the scriptures, man. Salakia. There was given to me a thorn in the flesh, kind of thorn in the flesh, you know what I mean? So there was given to Paul, what? A thorn in the flesh. And when you look it up, a thorn in the flesh is basically something that hinders you, man. And I was looking up on this quote-unquote Christianity site, and how they say it is a thorn in the flesh. A thorn in the flesh is something given to us by God to keep us from becoming conceited. From becoming conceited. What's that? From what? Being preeminent, self-glorification. It can feel uncomfortable, like torment or a form of torture. But the Most High does not but they're going into something else. But well, he doesn't it is a tool of what? Humility, man. You know what I mean? So it's something to what? Keep us from becoming what? Conceited, man. Keep us humble, man. And all of us, man, have a thorn in the flesh. Whether it be certain brothers have certain illnesses, you know what I mean? Certain brothers have family, women has a thorn in the flesh, children has a thorn in the flesh, you know what I mean? Some brothers have financial as a thorn in the flesh. Some brothers have different demons plaguing them, you know what I mean? Different thoughts, different. And most brothers have a multiplicity of all the above, man. A certain thorn in the flesh that keeps you humble, man. That keeps you on the straight and narrow, man. And Paul had that, man. And all of us have that, man, whether it be spiritual or physical, man. And more likely than not, they're going to be multiple between spiritual and our physical, man. You understand? But we are to what? Overcome it, man. We are to keep pushing through, man. You know what I mean? Even our brother was saying at the camp on Tuesday, he's like, yo, man, you know how many times it's like, fuck it, I don't want to go out, but fuck it, I gotta go out, man. You know what I mean? You feeling all lackadaisical, so on and so forth. You feeling, quote unquote, depressed, that depression demon. You know what I mean? You having all type of bugged out thoughts, man. hey, man, all type of crazy shit, man. Them demons hopping on you, man. All type of bugged out shit, man. So on and so forth. Crazy shit might be happening in your life. So on and so forth, man. And even when it's smooth sailing, that's kind of like a worrisome, man. Like, cause now you gotta examine yourself. Like, damn, am I right? What's going on? So on and so forth, man. It's always this truth, man. This journey. You know what I mean? This liberty of Yahweh Shai is always about what? Humbleness, self-examination, man. You know what I mean? Even like one of the elder brother was saying, man, that feel good feeling, a lot of times is a demon, man. You know, you feel good, you feeling yourself. A lot of times that's a demon, man. You know what I mean? And the Lord will humble your ass real quick, man. You understand? So this is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 7. Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me. So Paul was given a thorn in the flesh, man. You know what I mean? And it doesn't specify, but it was something to keep him humble, man. You know what I mean? To keep him conscious of his own mortality, man. To keep him conscious of his own mortality, man. Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelation, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. So like we read earlier, man was begging up Paul like he was Yahweh Shai, man. You know what I mean? Man was rating Paul like Paul was the Lord and Savior, man. And Paul what rebuked those men. He was like, hell nah, man. We just servants. We ministers of Yahweh Shai. You know what I mean? And that's the same spirit you supposed to be, man. You know what I mean? If certain men try to big you up, boast you up, man, you have to always tell them, yo, man, all praises be to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. This ain't of me, this is of the Lord. You understand? For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that he may depart from me. Kind of brothers do the same thing. Brothers pray to take those thorns in the flesh off of them. Right? Sometimes it's just something that we have to live with, to remind us of our own mortality, our own replaceableness. You know what I mean? Because when you check it out, hey, everybody's replaceable, man. You know what I mean? Everybody's replaceable, man. This is the Lord's program, man. Nobody's seat is guaranteed, man. The elect seat is guaranteed, but we don't know who. We don't know exactly whether or not. We have a good feeling, man. A hopeful elect, man. But it is no guarantee set in stone. None of the elect know if they for sure the elect, man. So until then, hey, everybody's replaceable, man. You know what I mean? Men that you taught would have never fell out, man. So on and so forth, man. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. So the Lord requires what? That humility, man. Because what? That requires you to seek the Lord. That requires you to what? Humble yourself. You understand? Requires you to humble yourself. In your weakness, hey, what the Lord say? Scripture say? And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. So the Lord's strength, that's deep right there, man. The Lord's strength is made perfect in weakness, man. Because when you're weak, when you're lowly, who you seeking after? The strength of the Lord, man. You're seeking after the strength of the Lord, man. When you're down and out, you're seeking after the Lord, man. And that's why the rich man scarcely make it, man. Because the rich man, everything going fine and dandy, man. He in that feel good spirit, man. He in that feel good demon. You understand? But the poor man, the lowly, the meek, the weak, hey, they're seeking after the Lord to help them, man. They're seeking a handout from the Lord, man. They're seeking a comeuppance from the Lord. You understand? Those men have the thorn in the flesh, the different obstacles, the different struggles that they're dealing with. They're seeking a comeuppance from the Lord, man. They're seeking they're seeking some type of upliftment from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You understand? Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities. In reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So he take pleasure, man. Paul said to take pleasure in persecution, in your weakness, in your reproaches, in your infirmities, man. Because what? That shows what? That ultimately the Lord dealing with you, man. Because the Lord is what? Chastising you. He's bringing you through that fire. You understand? He's purifying you, man. Because if everything was smooth sailing, then get into the kingdom will be too easy, man. There have to be obstacles and journey, ups and downs. Scriptures tell you what? A just man fall 7 times. So these things must happen, man. You know what I mean? On our journey and on our road to the kingdom of Yahweh Shai. You understand? So these things must happen, man. So Paul said what? He said he take pleasure in it, man. He take pleasure in the persecution, man. You know what I mean? He take pleasure in the chastening of the Lord, man. Like Hebrews say, man. The Lord is gonna he love it who he chastened, man. You know what I mean? That's a sign that the Lord is supping with you, man. He's trying you. That's how do you know a true friend? Through the trials and tribulation, man. Through those thorns in the flesh that the Lord put upon us, man. The Lord is testing us. The Lord is seeing, because the Lord requires you, because the Lord is a jealous power to call upon his name for help, for guidance, for protection, man. You understand? But fine. Close out with this precept right here, man. This is the book of John, chapter 16, verse 33. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking. These things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. Come. In the world you shall have tribulation. Come. So you're gonna have tribulation, you're gonna have them thorns in the flesh, man. You know what I mean? Some brothers have thorns in the flesh where they damn near unto death, man. Thorns in the flesh, hey, brothers like that too, man. Thorns in the flesh where they have passed on, man. But guess what? Their works do follow them. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai rate them, man. And they're gonna get their crown same way, man. You know what I mean? They're gonna be resurrected same way. These things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. So like Paul say, yo, he glory in them, be of good cheer, man. You know what I mean? He glory in he take pleasure in the tribulations, man, in the infirmities. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So Yahweh Shai have overcome the world, man. So Yahweh Shai done set the road, man. Set the thing. Set the program for us to overcome the world same way. Because we the disciples of Yahweh Shai, man. So Yahweh Shai done set the example. Just like how Yahweh Shai overcame the world, the elect is going to overcome the world same way, man. Overcome all the thorns in the flesh that we have, man. Spiritual, physical, or both, man. So with that, I want to say all praises be to Abanawa Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Harakakudash, the honor to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, well. Shalom to the elect.